and I'm frankly really hurt by how
like a monkey, like a monkey. are we all tonight? Can you hear me coming through? Yes, I furiously clicked buttons to ensure that the buffering stops. Hopefully it works. I'm not entirely certain what I clicked or what it's supposed to do, but I think it should stop the buffering. We doing well tonight? Are we having a good time? I tell you what, I am not having a good time. I am not. You know why? It's been a crappy couple days. I'm right there with you. I feel that every month. Disability is quite the thing in the States. It's hard to get in the first place unless you're on dialysis. One of my few guess of this. And it's never sufficient really for your world. You got to live, you got to eat, you got to do all this stuff, and you're getting a fraction a fraction of what you would expect to get your paycheck. Yeah, I think that's a good segue as any, Palm Dad. This week has sucked. Wednesday night at midnight, my phone beeps and it's my little thing, and my phone's message is a preloaded thing. It's a child's voice saying message. So it's creepy as fuck, but it's funny. It creeps the hell out of people in public places. Always fun. And I look at it, and it's Tyler's server, and Tyler's server is one of his mods, who I actually like. Killjoy is okay. Like talking to him in the past, mod to mod, about he's been all right. And they're posting tomorrow morning. We are dropping the a piece on Demon Mama. There's all this stuff, all these expectations, blah 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 blah. And I just think to myself, shit. It's not that I didn't know something was. However, I hate this. I don't like this stuff. Don't like that this has happened. You heard me the other week when I talked about the reduction of the concept of calling someone a pedophile and a groomer to a political slur, and the dangers this is taken on. I don't like what's happened. I am. I listened to it Thursday morning. Thursday morning, by the way, is a dialysis day for me. So this is how fucking serious I took this. Like I was deadly serious. I set up a containment thread in the cathedral. I sat down, got stuck full of needles. My blood started getting spun through the machine, and I started listening to this goddamn thing. And right off the bat, I'm like, oh God, this is gonna suck. The entire thing was a painful exercise and malpractice. I I believe I started this show because I believe that you can make a difference. That you can make a difference by talking about issues. You can do good. And I know that runs in the face of what YouTube expects. Like you're rewarded for being a sensationalist. But to be perfectly frank, and that sucks. And I try not to do that because understanding understanding the world is difficult enough today. You get so much more information than you might have been exposed to before because information is at your fingertips, and there's so much, and it's hard to sort through, and that takes some work and some effort, and it sucks. It sucks that it's so hard to get a grasp on the world you live in. And I want to not be that. I want to be something different. But this is happening in my back goddamn yard. I didn't want to talk about this. I was going to do like the same kind of 5-minute song and dance I did when Vosh's tax folder. But despite everything, this kid, he's not a kid. He's a young man. Globy, he did a remarkably brave thing. And to see him abused in the way that Tyler has done, and to see him treated this way is disgusting. I'm furious. And it's fury that's built up on the top of the last couple days. Because if you've been around and seen what's happened with Tyler recently, I have held my tongue to the detriment of my relationships with some of my colleagues. Getting into arguments about, and I've apologized, but I held my tongue. This young man has done, and if you're not familiar, we're not going to go over it on stream because I refuse to monetize this young man's content and his pain and the abuse that he suffered for my own benefit. But we are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what went wrong here. And we're going to talk about this in the way that I do it. So we're going to talk about yellow journalism tonight and the turn of the century and the Spanish-American War fighting event. Then we're going to talk about how Tyler's goddamn. I am as best as I am able to be a historian. And I don't know if you know this, but historians hate journalists almost as much as they hate economists. And I am a frequent sayer. My frequent saying is, don't talk to economists. It validates their life choices. The other month, about a month and a half ago, I think, on Twitter, this article here from Mother Jones came out. And it's about the end of, it's about the period of Reconstruction and the promises made to the recently freed enslaved black citizens of the. And it talks about how, for instance, Sherman's famous declaration of 40 acres was a lie. Slave owners, or the former slave owners, saw their land returned. And it had the headline on it, breaking news, as if the 1860s are breaking news. And like, we compiled Reconstruction era documents to identify 1,250 formerly enslaved black Americans given land, only to have it returned to their enslavers. As if this was news. This isn't news. You can get this into most American history books on the topic. I'm pretty sure I can think of off the top of my head someone like Kevin Cruz talking about this. The reality is, journalists are idiots in most cases. To be perfectly blunt, journalists do not do a good job in this country anymore. The quality of the news has desperately sunk over the last 30 years. To a significant degree. And I bring up this Mother Jones article not because we're going to cover it in any real depth, because it's a good example, because History Twitter was pretty incensed about this. We all had a good laugh together. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I hang out and talk with a lot of history professors by nature. I want journalism to be good. You know, Jemt, if you're lurking back there, and I know you don't like Aaron Sorkin, but the newsroom was this expression. The show, The Newsroom, was this expression of optimism, of a thought of what could be, of aspiration. And Aaron Sorkin's a dork, to be clear, but I respect aspiration. I respect reaching for the best of us. And you say nothing, whatever else you could say about his work and his popular shows. But at least he has a vision of something that might be better. Journalism is important. The way we view the world is framed by journalists. And this story about the USS Maine in particular is also important for a very particular reason. It launched the United States into a war, or at least helped. People died because based on what was largely a rush to judgment. And this is a news article from the Examiner the day after the Maine was destroyed. February 15th, 1989. The battleship Maine was deployed by the United States to Cuba, to Havana. During this time, Cuba was fighting a war trying to get independence from Spain. The ship exploded. To this day, we don't know why the ship exploded. But on that day, it exploded, and approximately over 200 American sailors died. The newspapers at the time, and this is a pretty famous American history lesson for college. The newspapers at the time, and I think high school, my history education starts to squeeze together eventually. The newspapers at the time helped advance a sensationalist. They were famous. The battleship Maine became one of the rallying cries. So why did the Maine explode? There are two theories. This is the document, and I will put it here for you to read in its entirety. Right in chat. Final results of the Naval's quest here. We're going to go down to the bottom and see what they said. The conclusions they drew. The destruction of the Maine occurred at 9:40 p.m. on the 15th day of February, 1898, in the harbor of Havana, Cuba. She being at the time moored to the same buoy to which she had been taken upon her arrival. There were two explosions of distinctly different character, with very short but distinct interval between them, and the forward part of the ship was lifted to a marked degree at the time of the first explosion. The first explosion was more in the nature of a report like that of a gun, while the second explosion was more open, prolonged, and of greater volume. The second explosion was, in the opinion of the court, caused by a partial explosion of two or more of the forward magazines. The evidence bearing upon this, being principally obtained from divers, did not enable the court to form a definitive conclusion as to the condition of the wreck, although it was established that the aft part of the ship was practically intact, and it sank in a condition in a very few minutes after the destruction of the forward part. The following facts in regard to the forward part of the ship are, however, established by the testimony. The portion of the port side of the protective deck which extends up about the frame 30 to frame 41 was blown up aft and over to port. Main deck from about frame 30 to about frame 41 was blown up aft, slightly over to starboard, folding the forward part of the middle superstructure over and on top of the after part. This was, in the opinion of the court, caused by a partial explosion of two or more of the forward magazines. At frame 17, the outer shell of the ship from point 11 feet and a half feet from the middle line of the ship and 6 feet above the keel when in normal position was forced up as to now be 4 feet above the surface of the water, therefore about 34 feet above where it would be where the ship was sunk uninjured. The outside bottom plating is bent into a reversed V shape, after the wing of which about 15 feet broad and 32 feet in length from frame 17 to 25 is doubled back upon itself in the continuation of the same plating. At frame 18, the vertical keel is broken in two and the flat keel bent into an angle similar to the angle formed by the outside bottom plating. This break is now about 6 feet below the surface of the water and about 30 feet above its normal position. In the opinion of the court, this effect could have been produced by only the explosion of a mine situated under the bottom of the ship at frame 18 and somewhat on the port side of the ship. The court finds the loss of the main on the occasion named was not in any respect due to the negligence on any part of the officers or members of the crew. In the opinion of the court, the main was destroyed by the explosion of a submarine mine, which caused partial explosion of 2 or more of the forward magazines. The court has been unable to obtain evidence fixing responsibility for the destruction of the main upon any person or persons. This was the findings of the naval inquest for the sinking of the USS Maine. The concept of the mine being the explosion is now heavily disputed. It's believed that the coal in the bunkers may have ignited spontaneously due to gases that sometimes form that particular coal and ignited. That's somewhat irrelevant to what we're talking about, but for completion, we'll put it here. This inquest is dated the 21st of March, 1898. This is a newspaper from the next day, from the New York Journal. Spain guilty, destroyed by a floating mine. Yellow journalism is of sensationalism. It is the use of sometimes outright lies in order to drum up more business for your newspaper. It's journalism only in name, really, at the end of it. Yes, I also want to thank the Library of Congress for me stealing their crap tonight. It's journalism only in name. Because you're not really getting the facts. You know what you're getting? You're getting something that's designed to bring you back. It's to bring you back to the next thing, the next story. And this is a practice that hasn't really ever stopped in journalism. About gotcha moments. About all these little things. And it's never really about the news anymore. And to be clear, bias is, again, like we've talked about in the past here so many times, impossible to avoid. Bias is one of the most difficult things to deal with for people, I think. Because it's a good thought terminating cliche, right? Oh, you're just biased, therefore I can reject your whole argument. No, you can't. As a reader, as a consumer of media, you have a job to do. You have a job of being able to recognize the bias of the writer of the publication and to factor that into your understanding of how they're presenting the facts. My job as a person presenting information to you is to make that bias clear, to try my best as a human being, a frail, fraught human being, to ensure that I don't get in the way, that I don't sufficiently get in the way, that I don't prejudice what I'm doing. I am loath to talk about things I can't relate them to. Because I think this show should have a purpose, a point. It should do something. And I wasn't going to talk about this. I wasn't really going to talk about this in any big way because nothing I can do to make. I want to reiterate that what this young man did was brave. What Globey did was brave. And I want to reiterate that I believe story. I believe his story. And so Thursday morning when I watched this and I saw the way Tyler framed it, and it's deliberate, right? He gets up there in his little collared shirt, little microphone, and sets up his curtain, blackout curtain, and like he's got his thing going. And I saw his Twitter post where he showed a picture of his little setup with his dog lying in the middle of it, and he's got a whole little like production like thing set up. It was deliberate. It was designed to make you think that what you're looking at is serious journalism. And he has since tried to call it serious journalism. But there are problems. And anyone who has brought up even the mildest criticism of Tyler, even before this, he's attacked viciously. He's tried to refer to them as pedo. He's tried to pedo jacket. Bad. What's happened is almost certainly a crime. What Glebby relates sounds to me like a federal crime, which begs the question why you would fire this off half-cocked. You see, if I allege that someone has committed a crime publicly and there is no investigation on it, they're not being investigated by authorities, competent authorities, of which Tyler is not one of them, there's a chance that they're going to start destroying evidence, right? There's a chance that they will destroy evidence. No, I'm pausing it still. I'm not cutting in and out. I'm pausing. I'm right up by my mic. There's a chance that they will destroy evidence. I wouldn't be surprised right now if, because Tyler screwed the pooch on this so significantly, that Demon Mama and Fawn in particular has a cloud of black smoke flowing from the chimney as they burn document. Jesus fuck. The minute a crime was alleged, he should have stopped. They said, okay, we have to handle this way. But no, what he decided to do was release it, an attack, an incredibly imperious political time for trans people, an attack on a trans person, which he didn't even have the common decency to make sure that he checked his goddamn script and didn't mix people up on. This is irresponsible at best. It's malpractice at worst. To call it journalism is revoltingly insulting. To run around and try to impinge Sunday, someone who is annoyingly ethical at times, try to impinge him as being unethical is revoltingly disgusting. And to not edit out this mix-up, which implicates a non-public factor in this. In this story is there's an edit function on YouTube. You can do it. It's a pain in the ass, but you can do it. And then we get into the interview itself. And the interview is I know a thing or two about conducting interviews. I do that as a history major, right? Bad. I do it. It's bad. It's just bad. Then first off, he opens this up. He's like, content warning. This depicts despicable of actions towards children. A content warning, by the way, is not supposed to prejudice you against the content to follow. It's to tell you what's coming so that you can make a decision as a person with potential vulnerabilities and traumas, whether or not you wish to engage with the content, not to prejudice you. So now we have a person who is being used, and other people are coming out, but they don't feel safe because everywhere they look, you've got Tyler flipping the hell out, running around like an unhinged lunatic, breaking stories, threatening to investigate Vosh, doxing Demon Mama for no goddamn reason. You've got Demon Mama's community, which has had a little nutty. There's not much safety. There's not much safety to be had. I hope that what has happened in the last 2 days, primarily about what Tyler has done, but what has happened in the last 2 days has not allowed someone become better at harming predators, or excuse me, children. What Fawn, what has been alleged that Fawn did was wrong. I don't believe that this is just Ed Trump. The way that Tyler is acting is cultish. Is attacking people who are addressing perfectly reasonable questions about a hit piece. It's not journalism. It's a hit piece that he's trying to dress up as journalism. Attack, not really Demon Mama, because the inclusion of Vosh, like, it's just another one of the semi-annual Vosh attack pieces when you get down to it. By way of someone else entirely. It's like foreign man level bullshit. So when you get into the interview itself, he in multiple cases, in multiple points, well, interrupts and then asks leading question. What is a leading question? And this is important because, like, there's a lot of cope going on right now. What is a leading question? A leading question is a question that is designed to put you in a position to answer something a certain way. The classic case of this is the courtroom question. When did you stop hitting your wife? It's a leading question because we haven't established off the top of the basis when you started hitting your wife, or if you hit your wife at all. There are a number that it just makes the assumption that you are guilty of this thing. In a court setting, you are not allowed to ask leading questions of your witnesses. You are allowed to ask leading questions. Why don't we want to ask leading questions? This is important because it's to the heart of how this started to get screwed up. Leading questions will bring the interviewee to a position where they feel that they have to answer in a certain way to maintain the grace of. Leading questions are bad. Almost every case in which you are trying to establish fact. I understand that how interviews work is like, for a lot of people, in this case especially so. Tyler is a 10K sub-streamer acting as this person's friend, trying to get this information. Leading questions will put you in a position where there's a power dynamic. Leading question tells the interviewee where you want the interview to go. Guess what? That's not your job as an interviewer. Interviews, especially in these cases, especially when you're talking to someone who's been harmed, who's been And the subject of grooming and abuse be done delicately. Your job is not to tell them when they or what they were exposed to. Your job is not to tell them what the thing was. Your job is to take down their story. But Tyler wasn't interested in Globey's story for the sake of the story. He wasn't interested in the sake of justice or anything like that. All he was interested in was building his case to go on to the next thing, to attack Vosh, to attack Whiteford. I've covered some of Tyler's content, and I have been generous as I could be. I have covered that content with the eye because of the community that I am in and the objectives of the community I am. To build relationships, I have covered this. I cannot suggest that you come forward if you have information about what's happened in Demon Mama's community to Tyler. I cannot do it because all I would be doing is throwing you to someone who's going to use you. I will never tell you not to watch someone. If you want to watch Tyler, go ahead, have a ball. Popcorn shows have to exist too, right? But go in and understand what's happening. Go in and understand that there's an objective here. And it's not pure. It's not for the good of the people that it's using. I do not believe in do not believe that this was done for a good reason. What was done, what is alleged is awful. It should be exposed, but shouldn't have been exposed like this. Should have been exposed in the proper way. I'm going to go on about this for a little bit, but first I'm going to go grab some water. Everyone go stretch your legs. You know, they're coming. Some people are coming from Sunday. It's been a little. All right, we are back. This is Social Blade by Charlie. It is, if you don't know what it is, it aggregates. This is nonsense, but it aggregates like how you are doing as sort of kind of the health of your growth of the. And while Tyler points out in stream the other day that his video was demonetized, rightly so, he did see a pretty substantial amount of growth the last couple days. It went very well for him. I suspect it'll probably change again in a few days too. Tyler has a financial interest, no doubt about it. Anyone who's a YouTube partner does. By the way, you can show some support and some love tonight by getting super chats or gifting memberships. Makes us happy. You have a financial incentive in your channel. I don't know why this was. Why was a crime reported? Set aside the less serious crime of wage stuff, which is not really substantiated in the interview, to be honest. The concept at play here. The concept at play is that Tyler built this piece to set up for the next. He used in his own way that will be. That's just what happened. It's indisputable fact. He abused this person who he acknowledges that was abused before in order to try and set up further financial success for him in the future. Thank you, Jendrix, for the $10. It's very generous. I want to come back to your comment too over here, Jen. With my own experience, various ways to silence me, tell my story on my behalf, weaponizing it personal, just as traumatizing as the original trauma. What we put out into the world matters, right? Felt that. I saw what happened yesterday. You were upset. I get it. Sorry. There's a chance that young man's not the only person that this has happened to. Better than average chance, I suspect. What if they don't come forward now? What if they don't feel that they can come forward now? There was more work to be done. It was I can't stress how upset I am about this. Not Tyler. I'm an uncle. I have nieces and nephews. And I worry so much about my family. I worry because it's not the 90s anymore, right? It's not. I kids have an amazing capacity right now to reach out into the world and learn. But that comes with everything that the world is. And it feels so much these days like more and more there is danger and difficulty. So what Fawn did is bad in a very real way. in a way that I wouldn't want to see happen to my own family, to my friends' kids either. This was important to get right. And he screwed it the fuck over because he wants to throw a bitch fit about Vosh not liking his fashion. Avoid any conflict of interest or the appearance of any such conflict. AP employees must abide by the following guidelines. Personal. All employees may not act upon or inform persons. Yeah, they can't. You can't insider information. Your family use insider information. This is important. Crime to use insider information. It's a crime. It's a crime to. It's not just a crime, though. It's. We were supposed to trust the news. So calling this news is a problem. It's not news. It's a hit piece. You're just another YouTuber, Tyler. You're not special. Let's see where Sunday's at. This is the wrong account. What is he doing again, huh?
Which is funny. Which is funny in light of what was just brought up about me and not so erudite on Stardust stream. Really funny.
What's happening in chat?
I just want to hear this.
Polyamorous relationship she shares with Doe, another slightly less well-known streamer with some presence in the debate sphere. Fawn began dating Demon Mama, real name Emily Sovis, sometime in June of 2017.
At Summer Parkhurst. AI is the worst.
Important bit of information: her actual birth date, which was in October of 1990.
Her actual.
By the way, there is no reason to put the name here. You could verify the thing and say, I found the thing. You're not verifying anything. You're not actually journalism. I'm a journalist. That's not a good Ralph Wiggum. No, that wasn't a good Ralph Wiggum at all. I'm a journalist. What? No. I'm in danger. Yeah, why was the name put there? Oh, we have to verify the age. You could verify the age and say, I verified independently that Demon Mama is 33. Or whatever the hell. What the hell was that? I can't.
Birthday. Newsworthy? What do you mean a news? What is that threshold? Newsworthy. What is he smoking these days? The condition of it being doxing is if it's not newsworthy. What does that even mean? Let me hear that one more time. I need to make sure I understood that correctly, because that sounded insanely stupid.
These ages aren't immediately important, but they will be soon enough.
Would you consider this doxing? So something that I've always given as a caveat earlier, but we've never discussed it because nobody even critically engages with anything anymore, is that doxing, in my opinion, doxing, in my opinion, is when you take privately, no, hold on. Doxing is when you take personally identifiable information and then you share it with others for the intent or purpose, or at least the obvious foreseeable outcome of that person being harassed when there's no newsworthy reason to release said information.
When there's no news.
Wait, what? No. You don't release the private information that has been kept private. Guess what? If you throw your identity around the internet, you have no protection. So let's go back to something. I've been having thoughts the last couple days about all of this, like serious thoughts, and running back to Sunday's coverage of Erudite, which I think was mishandled. Love you, Sunday. We're friends. I love you, but this should be to the point, because Erudite didn't really commit a crime. What Erudite did represent her ability to provide you a service that she is not at all qualified to do. That's it. That's a 5-minute thing. Here's the thing. Here's the what. Now she has to go ahead and like, oh yeah, I collect insurance information and I recommend things based off your complex needs for therapists, and I charge you $50 to use the APA's Google search. Right? Bullshit. That's bullshit, is what it is. 5 minutes. That's all it is. She's dead.
It wouldn't make enough of a kaboom. There's no. What does that mean? Newsworthy. What if the dox is the news? Or what if people just hate the person? Or what if people think the person's engaged in something unethical, like maybe prominent trans creator? Possibly. Just by dint of that, for a lot of people, that's enough. We're not talking about the Demon Mama stuff, but let's say someone like ContraPoints. Doxing ContraPoints.
Thanks, Jandrix. Hasn't ContraPoints been doxed? Wasn't that a thing? By the way, we have exceeded the theory meter. Next time we're doing theory. I am Little Sunday.
That's not doxing because it's newsworthy?
Let's catch
What
up.
does that mean? What if there's 4 people visiting from Moscow and they go to Applebee's? And oh my God, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are at it. What are the odds? Hey, can we take a picture? And now you're doxing a bunch of people and you're fine with it because you're okay with doxing Russians. I don't think Methsony thought this one all the way through. Oh, and by the way, this is the same person who freaked out and said, hey, Destiny's in that yard over there. Wouldn't it be most unfortunate if an egg were to spontaneously fly in his general direction? 4 Russians walk into an Applebee's. Exactly.
Definition, I would say no, because this is information that has a public interest.
We need to know where those.
First of all, I don't think any Russians have ever been to Applebee's. I won't go to an Applebee's.
He's like, we need to know where they live. We need to know where they are. We need to know who they are, their names.
Right, it's valuable to the public. I think we have a right to know, and I wouldn't say that that's being shared with the intent or purpose to harass the particular individuals.
It might be shared with the intent or purpose to assassinate them, actually.
Although that could be a foreseeable consequence of it being published, but there's a public interest there. So the public interest part.
What public wait. What public interest would there be in us knowing Demon Mama's name? Never mind. All Sunday. Yes, I know. Hang on, let me put it back on. Boop.
In this case, I haven't obviously.
Destiny's going to call you a PDF again if you're not careful, Prez. Let him. Of the two of us, only one of us has publicly said they want to bend a 10-year-old over their tricycle.
To watch this video, but if he's making a video talking about the fact that I'm guessing it's going to be that she's being sexually groomed or something at an early age, then the birthday is probably relevant. So I would say that this is probably newsworthy. Now, if he goes on to like publish her full address and first name and last name, it's like, okay, well, I don't know why we needed this much information, right?
28 now.
Wait, hang on. I missed that last bit. I need to go back. We need to go back. I gotta go through it one more time. Let's see.
Published, but there's a public interest there. So the public interest part is important because without the public interest part, basically all journalism is doxing. And all journalism would be unethical and it just would be unworkable.
What?
So in this case, I haven't obviously watched this video, but if he's making a video talking about the fact that,
and he never will,
I'm guessing it's going to be that she's being sexually groomed or something at an early age, then the birthday is probably relevant. So I would say that this is probably newsworthy. Now, if he goes on to like publish her full address and first name and last name, it's like, okay, well, I don't know why we needed this much information, right?
Okay, fair enough.
28 now.
I'm ready.
These ages aren't immediately important, but they will be soon enough.
Would you consider Stop Anti-Semitism posts doxing? If that works how I think it does, then probably yes. If that's like libs of TikTok, but for Jews, right? They basically, if they find out that somebody's been anti-Semitic, they repost like the person's job and name and all that shit, right?
Sorry, you're saying stop anti-Semitism is doxing? That is doxing. That's right.
I would say that that's probably doxing. The whole point of Stop Anti-Semitism is to harass the people who they're posting information from or whatever. What do you think of libs of TikTok getting doxed a few years back? I wouldn't consider that a doxing. I would say that that's when you have like, and this is my view here, maybe because I'm older or because I'm based, might be a little bit incompatible with younger, more retarded people on the internet, but I don't believe it's healthy for society, and I don't think that you should ever want large swaths of your media being dictated by anonymous, unaccountable people. You should never want that. Anonymity and unaccountability can be important for citizens, for private citizens, for people that don't wield huge influence, because the idea of like a Stop Anti-Semitism or libs of TikTok coming for you and destroying you for your opinion is bad. But having totally masked accounts that are having like large sways over the public opinion, I don't think anybody should ever want that. That's very, very, very scary because you don't know who's behind those accounts. You
I actually agree with that largely.
don't know what kind of agenda they might be pushing. You don't know why. Yeah, that's.
Okay, but here's my problem: is Demon Mama is not an anonymous masked account. Demon Mama puts her face up; she has a persona, sure, but that's not anonymous. She is, by and large, referenceable by her online handle of Demon Mama. I am referenceable by my online handle of Daedalus Media. That doesn't make me anonymous. But here's the difference. Here's a principal thing. One of the reasons I don't make this about credentials. I don't think that credentials make the person the thing in a case of it. Following thing is, I'm not anonymous. You want to go look up papers I wrote? I have enough information to try to do that. Don't do that. They're horrible. They're awful. Don't look up papers. They're bad. They're designed to pass classes, not to be useful. That's beside the point.
etc. But I don't think because you've mentioned that you're a doctor or a psychometrician that therefore your privately identifiable information should be linked to your public-facing persona unless you have done so yourself already. Which, by the way, is what I did with Not So Erudite, because Not So Erudite represented herself as Kyla Turner, aka Not So Erudite, in the media before. This is a choice she made. She connected these identities. And so for me to refer to connected identities when she's citing citations that she doesn't have, that's not doxing. That's referring to information she has made public. If anyone has doxed anybody, it is Not So Erudite. She has doxed herself. She's doxed me, actually, as it happens. But I didn't dox her. I think Not So Erudite as a small, independent person is just trying to make a small little media job, making a little podcast or whatever. I think she deserves her privacy, Stephen. I'm just nice like that. What a fucking boob. God, these people suck. I'm going to send you all to Two Guys Talking History because I am tired. I want to go get a drink before the liquor store closes. And we're going to do Theory in a day from now. I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm going to go watch Deadpool. And Two Guys Talking History, they're covering West Side Tyler's
a series of
journalism. Have fun. Give them a like and a subscription. They are fantastic, even if their audio quality is terrible. Cheerio.
My audio quality is about, yeah, it's bad. Okay, it's bad. My audio quality is like my papers. It's designed to get us to the thing. I'm not going to watch my own stream. Is about, yeah, it's bad. Okay, it's bad. How is everybody? We just, everybody coming in. It's very bad. Hi, everybody. How are you? We've had a day, haven't we? We've had a day. A big one. You're named after the wrong Greek. What Greek should I be named after? What Greek should I be named after, Vodka? Hi, Squid. I do love you also, do. Even if I get mean. We're going to skip over those. We're going to talk about this just a little. We're not going to talk about the interview. I don't want to use the interview. But needless to say, the interview sucked as an interview. The leading questions were horrible, and we've talked about that. Why don't we use leading questions? Because leading questions influence the answers you get from who. Holy shit. Thank you, Wig, for 50 gifted subscription. But here is my problem. Here's my problem of how this got presented. We're going to look at this.
Content warning. This video contains descriptions of despicable acts and
Content warning. This video contains descriptions of the despicable acts and what do you say? Depraved?
depravity involving children that may
Content warnings should not prejudice you against the content. It should tell you what's coming, right? You know this. We've talked about this before. Everyone who was here before is going to get a revamp. Because I'm mad. Content warning should not prejudice you against what's coming next. Got Brooks. Brooks has been made a member. This isn't a content warning. This is a character. This isn't journalism.
disgust or disturb you. Do not listen to this video in any public places or where others may hear the content described herein. No graphic images will be shown directly, though representations obscured with mosaic overlays may be used. Viewer discretion is advised. On July 29th, 2024, a self-identified leftist online political commentator and live streamer known online by her handle Demon Mama aired a roughly 3-hour and 5-minute live stream titled "Xander Hall Wants a Nuke? Here is your nuke." During the video, she laid out a series of accusations against another politics live streamer in her space, the Xander Hall mentioned in the title. In this live stream, amongst a number of issues, Demon Mama claimed Xander Hall was especially onerous in his treatment of an employee known as Cherry Bread in online spaces, particularly accusing him of withholding pay for selfish reasons and generally being abusive. Now,
so this is good, right? This is good. This is context. This is context that says, why am I here? Why am I talking about this? This could almost be journalistic. What I miss. Sorry, chat. I'm gonna mispronounce this. And Jada, like, is that a no? It's Kill Jaden. That's Warcraft. I know. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. This is context. Oh, hang on. Sorry. We're collecting this, by the way. Wee. I have a feeling I'm going to need this in the future. This will be important for later, as Blue's Clues used to say. So we're just calling whatever we want a leading... No, we're calling leading questions. But that's beside the point.
mind you, these were not issues that Demon Mama had just found out about or that had recently occurred, but rather had happened over half a year prior and never been reported. Allegations that included abuse of a worker by their employer, exploitation.
Do you think you're in a cult? Is a leading question. Yes, it's an issue with leading questions. It's literally in Journalism 101, don't ask leading questions. It's in history, too. Don't ask leading questions when you're conducting interviews.
And even death threats. While Xander Hall was justifiably browbeaten for his bad behavior, for some reason, only I was asking a question that I thought would be obvious to everybody. What kind of person covers up evidence of abuse and death threats for months in order to blackmail somebody? The answer is the sort of person who will cover up other stuff as well. And
here's the problem with this is, no, you weren't the only person asking, but who cares whether you're asking it or not? The idea isn't, well, how special am I? The idea is, this is a thing that's bad that needs to be rectified.
that answer led, obviously, to the second question. What kind of stuff?
Fashion. He got uppity with me because I made fun of the idea.
Anybody with a passing knowledge of
Why is Vosh here? Vosh has nothing to do with the following interview at all. This is just to bring in Vosh. This is the annual Vosh, the semi-annual, oh, look at Vosh bad hit piece. That's what it is. Just embarrassing for Tyler.
Demon Mama knows she's closely connected to and in real life friends with Ian Kaczynski, known online as Vosh Vidya or Vosh. Vosh's roughly half-decade-long career online has been plagued with a series of scandals involving his ready use of child pornography and child...
What does this have to do with anything? Nothing at all.
Child sexual abuse is a rhetorical lever while crafting arguments. In fact, much of Vosh's rhetorical structure revolves around the use of sexual innuendo and even outright gross sexual imposition against others. Some of the best-known memes regarding the, at the time of writing, 457,000 sub YouTuber involve painting him as a child sexual predator and his well-documented and outspoken desire to engage in acts of bestiality as a male horse. This culminated in early...
So why is Vosh here? Because Vosh brings in the clicks, kids. That's what happens. So now Glooby is being abused by Tyler, right? Now Glooby's story is being used by Tyler so that he can build his channel. That's disgusting behavior.
February 2024, when Vosh accidentally streamed the contents of a folder filled with pornography to a live audience of thousands, including a drawn image involving children performing oral sex on a horse. This is actually an important detail for later. Now colloquially known as the taxes folder incident, Vosh's pornography drop was condemned by nearly the entirety of the internet, with a few notable exceptions. To this day, Demon Mama has never openly condemned Vosh for his possession of these materials, and, from what I understand, discussion of the topic is largely banned on her Discord server. The answer to this quandary is indeed.
You got a little crush there, Hevlina? A little crush on Tyler or something? What's going on here? Huh? Little crush? Stretching? No, no one's stretching. We're asking very simple questions. Got a little crush? No way to step back? Little culty for you?
Deep. Demon Mama simply doesn't mind possession of these sorts of materials.
Thank you for the $2.60 I paid. Apparently, I'm a very cheap date.
I know you would throw a fit if I didn't.
This is Pseudo-Fawn, Demon Mama's longtime partner and one of the two notable members of the polyamorous relationship she shares with Doe, another slightly less well-known streamer with some
Doe has Pseudo-Fawn. Like, oh, why are we bringing Doe into this?
presence in the debate sphere. Fawn began dating Demon Mama, real name Emily Sovis, of 2021.
This is entirely unnecessary. Tyler could have said, I was able to verify Demon Mama's age as XYZ. I don't have to put a real name up. That's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. There's just not... What? Why would you do that? Particularly at a time where people are justifiably concerned about being exposed in the public to attack. Whatever else you might think of Keffels, she was, at least in part, exposed to harassment and attack. The details might be different, but like, there's no reason to do this. This is irresponsible and reckless. This isn't journalism. This is a hit piece. They're right, and at least in part in Demon Mama's community, to call this dangerous.
Some general internet sleuthing helped to narrow down Sovis's original home to Henrietta, New York, which also let us get the most important bit of information, her actual birth date, which was in October of 1990. That makes Demon Mama currently 33, and, according to Discord messages, Fawn attended the first Salt Lake Comic-Con in 2013 at the age of around 16 to 17, which would make Fawn around 27 to 28 now. These ages are...
That's enough of that. That gets the point across. Let's go back to this. This sells why this was wrong and disgusting.
To reiterate, I've confirmed Glooby's real identity through photographs of their state ID, and they are the age represented in that conversation. I am profoundly disgusted by this situation, and I believe without reservation that these issues will not self-correct without a robust response and intervention by the authorities that be. I believe Fawn's actions specifically, and Demon Mama's actions to a similarly egregious extent, violate federal law regarding transmitting pornographic...
Guess what? At that point, had I known this information, I stop whatever the hell I'm doing. I certainly don't post it on YouTube. Why? Because if a crime has been committed, then people might have evidence of that crime. If they know that you know and that you're exposing them for that crime, then they have a chance to destroy it. He shouldn't have put this video out. He should have taken the information he had, taken it to the appropriate authorities. What does believe victims mean? Believe victims means you do not question their story. You do not ask whether or not they are telling the truth. You take their information and you get them to the appropriate authority. Do you cowards have a Discord? Oh, I do. It's right in the description. Do you know how to read, Hevlina? You take that information, you put it to the appropriate authorities. Anything else is reckless, irresponsible, and abusive. Did he? Apparently he did so today. Only today, after he released it for himself. This was wrong. He owes his community apology. He owes Glooby especially an apology.
Materials to minors pursuant to United States Code Title 18, Sections 1470 and 2252, and 47 USC Section 223D, though local statutes may take precedence in this case. I'm going to end this video by simply urging people in this sphere who have associated with Vosh, Demon Mama, or the other individuals mentioned in this story to question everything you know and everything you think you know about your relationships with them. There has never been an excuse for any of this, and it cannot be permitted to continue. There is no conceivable excuse I can think of that would justify these.
Vosh, again, isn't involved in this. Oh, it looks like Covino. Let's go.
Hey, how's it going, bud?
How are you tonight?
Good. You like how my mic sounds? This is how your mic sounds on your stream.
Okay, you got anything actually useful to say?
No, because you don't either.
Okay.
Because you're so fucking bloodthirsty. You're making me break a rule. And I'm not even, no, you're making it look like I'm breaking the rule because I'm not here to defend, I'm not here to defend Tyler. I'm here to argue against a shithead who can't even watch the full video. All of your fucking answers would have been answered in the video if you just, like, pre-watch the video. This is not the kind of video you live react to on stream, you dumbass.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm partially getting worked up. Let me turn the gain down. This bit is over. I'm partially getting worked up because this is something that happened to me specifically, and I felt like not me specifically, similar. Years later, this whole bit about going to the police, it's well past, like, Gooby's an adult now, and it's well past the statutes of limitations. Two, and the reason I'm getting so worked up is because, like, I back when I was 17, a 35-year-old freak on Second Life did something very similar to what Demon Mama did to Gooby.
Of whose statute of limitations? Federal, local, state?
Yes.
Yes, that's three things. What's the answer? Do you know? Or you just running your mouth?
They go in an order. They go in an order. It's oh, Jesus Christ. And he even lays out the statute. I mean, he lays out the specifics in the video.
I watched the video. The video's crap. The video is disgusting.
I watched you skip through the video.
No, you just watched me skip through the video because I'm not putting that interview up. I'm not putting that person's pain up.
See, look at these wording. Like you're giving it away with your wording, calling it disgusting. You're being so emotional. Like, what is with this loaded language, dude?
This
and
loaded
you're
language
over here
is
talking about
this loaded language is to illustrate what was done wrong.
No. It is just loaded language because you want a hit piece because you're bloodthirsty, dude.
No,
you're bloodthirsty.
You just got here tonight,
bloodthirsty.
son.
I didn't need to be in here. I didn't need to be here any longer.
Good.
I didn't need to be here any longer.
Bye. If you're not going to bother to watch the entire thing before you try to impugn my character, fuck off, sir. Guess what? I'm not putting that man's pain up on this. We're not going to sit there. I saw the thing. I know what I'm doing. Congratulations. You're a jackass, kid. Trying to manipulate people. Anyone else? Anyone else got something useful to say? Tyler's not going to fuck you, kid. Hate to tell you, he's married. Haven't I already watched the video? Yes. If you rewind to the beginning of the stream, I tell you under what conditions I watched the video. How important I thought that was. How deadly serious I thought that was. Don't be in a cult, son. Will not end well for you. But thanks for the content. 8 views are still views. All right, it's been an hour and a half. There was quite a bit of content here in context tonight. Yellow journalism is never acceptable. Do better, Tyler. Do better. I'm going to let you all out tonight. Have a good one. Stay safe. Hopefully we can put this bull behind.